Welcome to another Baka commentary video. In this video, this will be a very much of my first-hand impression of Intel Arc. And as well as it's going to be a second part of this video will be an laptop review that happens to have Intel Arc on. So, let me first talk about the Intel Arc graphics card that I got hold of and is doing an impression of. The Intel Arc GPU is in a laptop chassis, in the Intel NUC 15 chassis. The full technical specification of this laptop is Intel Core i7-12700H, DDR5, 4800 JEDEC standard RAM, Intel Arc A730M at 80 watt TDP, and eventually I also tested 100 watt TDP. My first impression of this Intel Arc was this, when I was testing between the 80 watts and the 120 watt TDP mode, this GPU is extremely sensitive towards TDP. As when I ran this at 80 watt base TDP, it was the clock speed for the laptop was pretty atrocious and was barely it was not even beating an 6-7 years old GTX 1070M max performance full TDP edition, which is pretty bad considering how long big the age gap of these graphics card is. However, as soon as I got the 120 watt TDP mode locked on, it just shot up in performance. To literally quote, to tell you what happened in 3D Mark, I got 150% performance increase when I went to the 120 watt TDP BIOS. Before you say, oh, you must have done something, the Windows, or you must be using an older driver. No. The 80 watt TDP and the 120 watt TDP, I used the same drivers, same chassis, same fan profile, performance mode, and yeah, this was a massive performance gap. So if you are buying an Intel Arc graphics, you want to if you're like, and your graphics card is on the lower TDP side, it is not gonna be great when you actually use it as a main graphics card for gaming and other random stuff that really hammers the graphics card. So the first thing I think you should do on your Intel graphics card is increase the TDP to as high as you can allow it to give it as good as, so that it can go into max clock speed that the Intel actually advertises on their webpage. And if you can increase the TDP beyond Intel spec, like and buy an AIB card with Intel Arc, good. It's going to give you additional headroom, additional power, TDP and power will enable the card to go above Intel specification. And again, it's debatable whether Intel will RMA these things but however, I think these then fall into AIB's fold. If, the increased TDP and increased voltage that they have for their AIB version fails, it should be AIB's POM, no longer Intel's POM. Which, again, the next issue I have with Intel Arc, and my impression is, if you are always on if you are, be like, I want to use the latest, greatest drivers for Intel Arc, you are unable to do so. As Intel don't guarantee WHQL certification for their drivers when they launch them. This means if you want the latest greatest driver, you are going to not be having any WHQL certification, which is maybe something to do with like, hey, Windows officially recognizes it and certifies it as stable and good and being well tested. Those Intel Arc drivers, they are, if you don't see the WHQL, I assume shit is going to go wrong, shit is going to break, and Intel is like, you chose to do this, and Windows is going to be like, well, you chose to have an uncertified driver, we ain't responsible. So if you are looking for like, I want to have the latest drivers and it's going to be tested well, I don't think Intel Arc is for you. But however, if you are one of those people who's like, I don't care how old my driver is and it needs to be certified, yeah, I think Intel Arc could be viable. Or the other audience, the gaming audience that just wants drivers and can deal with bit of uncertified, untested nonsense and bit of stability POM. I think this Intel Arc could be a very good thing at the value, and the A750, the A770 could be a very, very good. The Arc 3s and the Arc 5s, I think, is very debatable and very, very has some niche use case. But other than that, I don't see the point of buying an Arc 3 and Arc 5 graphics card. I see some people using them as encoders and just monitors, multi-monitor setup for cheap. Yeah, maybe that is what Intel Arc is going to be good at. Which also leads to the next point. Intel Arc don't support the latest display standards. So you want display port 2.0 or HDMI 2.1, like 4K high refresh rate, Arc is not going to support that. And so if you are running these high refresh rate 4K monitors or 1080, 1440p, really, really high 500 something hertz monitors, I don't think Intel Arc is the card for you. As well as the next POM you are going to have with Intel Arc is if you play games that developers have abandoned, like one of the game, like the software and game that I use occasionally, like the game City Driving Simulator, that game has been abandoned by the devs, and the the game or software no longer works with Arc. Well, guess what? That software is permanently unable to be functional with Arc ever. As one, the devs are not gonna go in patching, fixing it for Intel Arc, and Intel is probably gonna, but we're gonna be really relying on Intel to be patching the game for the developers in place of the developers. And if you're not willing to wait for that, again, Intel Arc is not there for you. Now, on to the second part of this video, which is the laptop review of the Intel NUC 15. The overall laptop is great for the price when on sale, as it is a low-end performance laptop, and the chassis is full metal. When you touch it, the only exception of this is the keycaps and and the bottom of the chassis, which is pretty acceptable for even a premium laptop, in my opinion. If you are one of those people who I want premium chassis where everything is premium, like metal or some really extremely high quality plastic, again, go buy even more expensive laptop that have even higher build quality. But for majority of non-picky people, Intel NUC 15 is a very rock solid build quality. However, as I alleviated to, this laptop keyboard can have build quality issue, as I personally ran into a laptop keyboard issue, as my Intel NUC 15 came out of box with wonky keys. Some of the keys, if you press it in the weird way, it would flex, it would go 45 degrees and be like, yeah, you can rip the key out if you're not accidental. And basically, yeah, my one came with a bit of kit laptop issue, and as well as my 2022 version came with the old 2022 BIOS. I didn't ask for Windows to be installed, so I didn't get any drivers. Hence, this is how I was able to test the 80-watt TDP and the 100-watt TDP on the same driver set with different TDP BIOSes. Now, when this laptop goes on sale, where it's on par or same price as those plastic budget entry-level gaming laptop, this laptop, it's excellent if you're willing to deal with Intel NUC 15. And you'll be like, I'm willing to put up with a bit of Intel Arc jankery. And you simply like, hey, I want a higher build quality of my laptop and not just be cheap plastic, and you want and be cheap nasty plastic. Yeah, this Intel NUC 15 can be in consideration as long as you're willing to deal with this Intel Arc issue. And then, when I did buy this laptop, it became a fire sale. It was on par with eSport focused cheap budget laptop. That is when it's no-brainer to go buy this Intel NUC 15. Why? Intel NUC 15 is pretty much, I would say, pretty good for esports laptop. Again, most esports titles, from what I tested, works. And frame rate, yeah, you're gonna be easily hitting like 120, 140 FPS easily if you're like 2, and maybe some cases 180 from what I've seen. If you're 240, again, why are you looking at an H laptop? Why are you not just go buy a HX laptop which enables your 240 Hz gaming, okay? If you're those 240 Hz gamers, 12700H, 13700H, Core Ultra 7s, they are not for you. These things, they're for low-high refresh rate and mid-refresh rate gaming. They're not there for the ultra-high refresh rate gaming, okay? As well as, another issue I had with the laptop is the charger. The charger that I got from the 2022 model were overheating. When I stress tested it, full loaded the laptop for extended amount of time, the charger became really warm and soft and to touch during it, and by the time with a few hours in, and by the time end of my like 6-8 hours of stress testing, the laptop was really hot to touch. This plus the keyboard issue, I was like, yeah, this laptop is a dud. We need to RMA this damn laptop. Yeah. Anyway, a next issue I have with this laptop is the port situation. It only has one barrel jack charging, which is fine. The USB-Cs, from what I could tell, the Thunderbolt, not chargeable. And it only had 3 USB-A 3.0 port. None of the, so only 5, it would cap out at 5 gigabytes a second. If you're looking for 10 gigabytes per second USB ports, A port, this laptop don't have them, and you need to use the one single Thunderbolt 4.0 USB-C port, which will be able to use USB 10 gigabyte as Thunderbolt 4.0 will just convert PCIe lane from the PCIe lane into whatever USB speed you want it. As well as, I think you already were alluded to, this laptop, if you got the 2022 BIOS stuff, you are going to be locked at base 80 watt TDP of this Intel Arc, and at that point, it is not really a gaming laptop. It is more of a fancy, really expensive laptop, office laptop that happens to have a discrete graphics card to do some discrete graphics acceleration. As you will need the 2024 version of this laptop, or if you do end up buying the 2022 laptop, you need to upgrade the BIOS to the 2024, as well as be prepared to pay additional fees for a third-party charger, as the 2022 charger is clearly insufficient for the 2024 BIOS for the increased TDP of 100 watt TDP. And yeah, basically, this laptop also has another issue of it sounds like a goddamn jet engine every time any component gets fully loaded. And if you are using this for a long amount of time and fully loading it up, it is going to become a jet engine at takeoff speed noise for as long as you are doing your full load stressing the laptop. So, if you are gaming, prepare to buy noise cancelling headphones when bloody gaming. Your ears are gonna love you. Your neighbors are gonna fucking hate you for having this laptop. It's a damn laptop that is gonna sound like a jet engine, fighter jet taking off, okay? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, do the typical like, subscribe, and share to get more people aware of this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.